Alright, so now we're going to be going over the keyboard inputs in your game. So the keyboard inputs are actually managed by something called the Input Manager. Now to find the Input Manager, we're going to go to Edit, Project Settings, Input. And when you do that in your inspector panel, you should see something called Input Manager. You're going to see Axis. Go ahead and open that up. And the first one is called Size, and the 15 refers to the 15 keys right here. Let's take a look at Horizontal. Now the name is horizontal right here, so whatever you name it right here, this is what you need to use in your script. So if I change it to a lowercase h for horizontal and I try to use the uppercase H, Unity will not recognize it. So you need to make sure that these keys, whatever you name them to, are exactly the same in your script as well. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to the default. Alright, now we have our negative button and our positive button. The left is our negative and the right is our positive. And then we have our alternate and negative buttons. A would be left, D would be right. Then we have gravity. So basically what gravity is, once we let go of the left key or the right key, it will automatically revert to the neutral state, which would be 0. Now 3 refers to the units per second in which that will revert back to 0 or the neutral state. And dead is our neutral state, and then we have sensitivity, basically the same thing as gravity. It'll take 3 units per second to basically realize that you've pressed a key down. That is the sensitivity. All right, then we have invert. Obviously, if you have this checked on, it'll make the left key turn into the right key and vice versa. All right, and then finally we have the axes, which is the x-axis. Basically, horizontal only refers to the x-axis, left and right. And then join num basically means once we plug in a joystick, it'll get all the motion from the joysticks. All right, so we're not going to take a look at all of these. I'm just going to open up a few of these. We're going to have fire 1, which is our left click. Then we have fire 2, which is usually your right click. Then fire 3 is your middle mouse button. And then we have jump, which is usually your space button. Now you can input it here as well. You can change this positive button to say space or whatever you want. And if you want to change anything in here as well, you can open these up. You can see we have these little triangles on the side, meaning we have a drop-down menu. Alright, so and then finally, if you want to add a specific type of key in here, you can just change the size. You can change it to whatever you want. So if you just want to add one key, just type in 16. And you'll see that we have an extra jump key down here, and you can change this to whatever you want. So I can change the name to say turbo. Then I can make the positive button say a U. You want to make sure that you use a lowercase button whenever you're putting in keyboard inputs in here. Alright, so that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and change it back to 15. Now let's take a look at some of these syntax. Now whenever you're using these keys in your script, this is the syntax that you want to use. Basically, you want to use quotation marks over the keyboard key that you want to use. The only difference is for the keypad keys, you want to make sure that you use brackets around the actual number. So here we have a small example of what you would use in your script. So we have value equals input.getKey, and then we have parentheses with a quotation mark around the A key. So if you were using a keypad key, you would have the same thing as a quotation mark around a bracket around a number. So that's all there is to the Input Manager. You should have an idea of how to use the Input Manager now and how to add your own specific keys.